Well, good evening, Ade. Firstly, thanks for joining us tonight. So, welcome. First of all, congratulations on your new role at Telford Town. Can you share what's inspired you to join the club? Obviously, having previously been at Hensford, to taking over at Telford Town.
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved at Hensford for a few years. I was ready to step away last year. Obviously, everybody knows that the sale fell through. It was going to happen. I'd already actually started to speak to Mickey Baker about potentially coming here. Unfortunately, the Hensford sale at the time fell through, and I wasn't prepared to watch a football club die. So I took it back on with the intention of finding new owners for the club and moving on. I was also living in Spain at the time, which made it rather difficult. Obviously, my circumstances have changed. Hensford, they got fantastic new owners. We got that deal done. I've got nothing but good memories of the people over there, and yeah, from that point of view, I wanted to stay involved in football, and I came over here, watched a couple of games, and got to know everybody. And I just saw a fantastic group of people, a really good setup, and something that I can really get my teeth into as a long-term thing, not just trying to go up one division or something like that, and then being in a situation where it's too hard to fund because you've gone up one promotion. It's something that I think is a long-term project here, which is it's exciting, and yeah, as I say, great people, so that's why.
Okay, great stuff. So, you've been here around about 6 weeks now since the takeover. You've made significant strides, including introducing a playing budget, enhancing the club's digital presence. Which of these early changes are you most proud of, and why?
Hard to say. I think the playing budget's obviously always going to be an important one. It's good to have a playing budget in place because it gives you more flexibility. That being said, the club had already achieved a lot this season without the need for the playing budget, so it's enhanced it rather than sort of come in and you're 10th or 11th and there's nothing to play for and you're just burning through cash. I think the social media one's something I'm quite proud of, because social media is a big indicator of not just where you are right now, but where you can go as a club, and where people are buying into what you're trying to do. So yeah, I think that's probably social media, I'd say, is the biggest one. That and a lot of sand for the pitch.
Okay, so you formed a new board of directors. You've incorporated both previous AMS committee members and you've brought in some new faces. How important was it for you to maintain a connection with the club's history and the community, whilst also bringing in some fresh perspectives and fresh faces?
I mean, as I sit here and I'm looking, across at the pitch, it's something that you can't walk away from the past, and you don't want to. The club was built by fantastic people. Dave Gregory, of course, who I never had the pleasure to meet, but I've heard nothing but amazing things since the minute I came in for the first meeting. It was important for me to have that continuity. I didn't want to just come in and go, right, we're a new football club and screw everything over from the past. That's not the right way to do things. It was really important to keep those guys who have been here and kept this club going and functioning, and kept it not just, I say function, but it's not just function, does it? They've still been competing, and it's not a club I've come into a giant mess to try and clear up, which is always a nice bonus. So I think it was really important, those guys, and they're very good at their jobs. The one thing I've always learned in business and in life is if something's broke, fix it, but if it ain't broke, don't touch it. And it was the right thing to do. We've been lucky enough to bring in some people who are close to me, some family members and some business people who I'm close to and people I've worked with before, across the board of directors. So yeah, and they're blending well together so far, so long may that continue.
Good stuff. So the improvements to the club's infrastructure aid, such as fixing the PA system, launching a new website and an app, very commendable. How do you believe these enhancements are going to impact the club's relationship with its fans and the wider community?
Well, firstly, the PA system did get fixed, and then it got broke the other night. We fixed the amp, and then one of the speakers has gone. So that's another thing I'm going to fix. But the idea is to try and enhance what happens on a match day. I don't want to be what's the word I'm looking for, or Hollywood type, attitude where it's a whole entertainment that surrounds the game. But at the same time, I do think football is about more than just coming to watch those 90 minutes, especially for non-league clubs. The more you can keep people involved and people engaged with what you're doing, is the difference between them coming back again and becoming involved with the club and becoming proper supporters of the club who, they're attending games, they're attending functions, things like that. The only way you're going to do that is if you keep improving things that are around the ground and keep, make it more entertaining. From we've put the Sky Sports in, we've put a couple of extra TVs in and things like that. And the idea is just to give people a reason to stay, to spend their money with us, but also to spend their time here and fall in love with the club, because that's what football's about. It's about falling in love with football clubs.
Okay, so looking ahead to the future then, Ade, I know it's been mentioned there's plans to create a full junior and ladies section as well as an academy. Can you just elaborate on how these initiatives are going to shape the future of Telford Town, please?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, junior football for me is a massive thing. Unfortunately, it's sometimes misused by clubs. I don't believe that non-league football junior sections should just be about trying to pick off the best players from that area. For me, the first and foremost thing is to make people fall in love with football. Doesn't matter what their ability is. It's about getting these kids in, playing football and enjoying it. And one policy we're going to have as a football club is no child will ever be turned away from playing football at this club. Now, that's for the junior section, and that's something we're going to build. The ladies section, exactly the same, except for the ladies section's first team will be exactly the same as our first team, in that we want to win. And trying to bridge that gap between the two, between sort of junior football and first team football, whether it's men's or women's, we're going to have sort of a youth section which is sort of sits in the middle, 16 to 18 year olds, where you are going more from football being just about enjoyment and to the actual more technical aspects of the game, and try and develop players through that. Long term, the aim is of course to create an academy. Two reasons behind that: it's financial revenue driver for any non-league club, having an academy system if it's done right. Secondly, of course, you want to develop players, and you also want to develop people who, whilst they might not make it as a player, that could be your future physio, playing in the youth team, or your future commercial person, or your future groundsman. By getting them involved with the club and not just developing them as footballers, but developing characters, I think that's an important part of what we want to do, both with the junior, the youth, the academy, and on both sides, male and female. So the plan for it long term is exciting. It's not something that comes overnight. I know we've already advertising for these teams and for these players. Vaughan, who is coming to deal with that, is going to be making contact with people over the next couple of weeks who have sort of expressed an interest. But by all means, there's always time, and we've always got time for any junior player that wants to come and play football under the banner of Telford Town and just enjoy it.
Good stuff. So switching to on the field matters. So last couple of games, the team's shown a lot of resilience with draws against title rivals. How do you view these performances in the context of the club's ambitions for the season? How does it align with your vision for the club's future on the pitch?
So yeah, I mean the last couple of games, Pelsall away was a very tough game. They're a good side, they're in the position they're in for a reason. And I thought we played extremely well, 2-0 up with a few minutes to go. They got it back to 2-2 and showed why they are where they are as well. I thought it was a fantastic game. And moving on from there, we obviously played Gornal, and the development side went out for that game, for the cup game, which is just over a week ago. I was unwell, so I didn't attend that one. But by all accounts, although they got beat, it was a lot of players making their debuts for the first team and playing senior football for the first time for the club. And a really good experience for them. And then of course we played Gornal here on Tuesday night, 0-0 draw, which as I said at the time, I think it was a fair result from a spectator's point of view. I think both teams could have won it, but equally both teams could have lost it. And I spoke to Gornal's chairman afterwards, who I know well, I've known him for a long time before football, and we both agreed it was a fair result of the game. I think you're looking at the title running, and it's so tight. The team, the points that are being dropped by the top four tend to be against each other. You've only got to look at, I think, we've drawn with Pelsall and Gornal. I think Pelsall have drawn with, and please, I might be wrong on this, but I think it's Gornal and Tipton they've drawn with. Tipton and Gornal have drawn with each other, I believe, as well. And you're looking at all those. I might be wrong on one or two of those, of course, but
Gornal beat Tipton.
Gornal beat Tipton. Yeah. There we go. So, but generally, that shows you how tough and competitive it is at the top four in particular. But then you've also got sides like Gornal Colts and teams like that who can take points off people. They've took points off us. They've took points off Pelsall. So I think it's going to be a really interesting run-in. I think one thing that can certainly be said is the team that wins this title will be the team that deserves to win this title. Nobody's going to fluke it. It's too tight, but got some big games to come as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
Talking of big games then, tomorrow, crucial match against Telford Town. How are you feeling ahead of this and other challenges as you contend for the title? Obviously, we've still got 13, 14 games left at the moment, so still a long way to go. But these matches against the top clubs, Tipton currently sit first. So, how are you feeling ahead of tomorrow?
Do you know what? I'm probably the worst spectator in the world. Anyone who knows me in football, I'm one of the worst spectators. I get frustrated. I kick every ball badly. But no, I'm nervous about it and excited as well. I think nervous is probably the wrong word, because I'm looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be a really good game of football first and foremost, which is why we do this. I know everybody wants to win the league. But first of all, you know, you run a football club, you're involved in a football club because you want to see good games of football. I think it'll be another test for the lads. But ultimately, what I do want to say, and this isn't just for us, I think this should stand for any team, but obviously we only look from a Telford point of view. It's 3 points, regardless of who you're playing. Whether you're playing a team at the top or whether you're playing a team at the bottom, you get the same. If you win the game, you get the same number of points. So for us now, we've got 13, 14 games left, and every game matters equally as much as the other ones for us. I think I'm not a big believer in the whole 6-pointer thing, because especially when you're in a 4-way tussle. If it was a 2-way tussle at the top, it's different. But there's 4 teams all still competing, and tomorrow's going to be a tough game, and I'm just looking forward to it. I love the night before a game. It's nothing better than the morning of a match day. You know, a little bit of excitement and a bit of butterflies. It never does anyone any harm. So no, it should be a great day.
Good stuff. So, community involvement then, Ade, absolutely crucial for clubs at this level. How are you planning to enhance Telford Town's engagement with the local community, and in what ways can fans, local businesses contribute to the club's success?
I think firstly, from our point of view, we want to be heavily involved with the community, whether that's involved with charity things that are going on, community events, trying to get more school kids coming to games, because again, school kids are the future. You know, there'll be a time when none of us are here, and those 9-year-olds are your future chairman, your future manager, your future bar person, and the only way they're going to become involved is if you get them through the gates. I think we've got a really good community around the area. Right, you know, the ground's not sort of in the middle of nowhere. It's got a really tight community. Telford itself is a very proud community, football-wise. I know that, and we just want to be part of that. And we want to try and get people as involved as they want to be. That's the biggest thing. You know, some people won't want to become involved in the day-to-day of a running of a football club, but they want to come to the games. The idea is just to make it as family focused as we can, and in terms of that, if there's a charity out there or organisations that want to get us, get involved, and we can try and help them out as much as we can, that's brilliant. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with us on socials. All the emails and things are on the website. Please do get in touch with us. In terms of what people can do if they want to get involved, obviously sponsorship's always a key thing. And that's brilliant, but there's other ways people can get involved with us as well. It hasn't just got to be handing over cash. It can be coming and giving you time, helping out. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had volunteers and players and everybody else on the pitch, board members. We've all been there trying to get in the pitch back to being playable, because obviously we've had a rough winter. That kind of investment of time can't be underestimated. So anybody who wants to get involved, please, reach out to the club on social media, email, reach out to me, Mickey Baker, anybody around the club, Lee Mitchell, Mark. Come to a game, have a word with us. Believe me, you're never going to get told no. If you want to give your time, or if you're a business and you want to invest your money, whether it's 35 quid sponsoring a player for a season, or whether it's sponsoring a stand, or whatever you want to do.
Great stuff, Ade. Great stuff. Okay, so finally, last question. Looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for Telford Town? What legacy do you hope to create during your tenure as chairman?
Do you know what the long-term vision is? To go as far as our natural capabilities are as a club. I've been in the situation of making bold predictions before, and it didn't work out for me. Being honest, at Ensford, in terms of we made some predictions of what we wanted to do, and then COVID hit and a million other things. I don't know what's around the corner. So all I can say is our first and foremost aim is to develop a club it's got a good future, it's sustainable. It can't just be reliant on me. Yes, there is investment going in, but it's also about growing the infrastructure of the football club to ensure that, and the guys here will tell you, the hit by a bus scenario. I get hit by a bus tomorrow, the club's still here the day after, and can still pay the same bills that it could the day before. And I think that's a really important part of the future for us. How far we can go, let's wait and see.
Good stuff, Ade. Well, firstly, thank you for coming out tonight. It's bitterly cold out here, so I can't feel my fingers anymore. But thanks for the interview, and obviously fingers crossed for 3 points tomorrow.
Yeah.